Most of the children attending the Husbands Institute know someone who was murdered. In some cases, it was their own parents. The founder told us back in December when we started working on this story that 95% of young men attending the program don't have positive male role models in their home. Welcome to Fraser, a community just waiting for a comeback. Nearly 74% of Fraser children live in poverty, according to the online database Neighborhood Scouts. Among the abandoned homes, blighted property, and crime, there's the Husband Institute.
Preparing young men.
A mentoring program turning boys as young as 5 years old into men. The day starts off with devotion and quoting the program's mission and vision.
Honorable husbands.
This is a safety net where young men have real conversations at Pursuit of God Church about the crime impacting children across Memphis.
Fat Daddy's mother got shot last night, and she didn't make it.
We're talking to you on the same day that a young boy in your program lost his mother to gun violence.
A son without his mother, a mother without her daughter, and a community without someone that many people loved.
How many of you know somebody that was affected by guns being shot or killed by gun? Raise your hand.
Among these young men impacted is 12-year-old Brian Allen, who got the worst news at 11 years old.
My granddad came home and they shared that they had a man who my dad knew was allowed into the house, but they didn't know that he was armed, and then he shot my dad in the head and my stepmom 4 times in the stomach. And then after that, he put lighter fluid inside the house and set it on fire.
Allen says the Husband Institute, where he speaks openly about his feelings, helps him cope with the loss of his parents.
That's why I like the Husband Institute, because the Husband Institute shows you that even though you lost somebody or you don't have this person in your life no more, that you have father figures, brother figures.
These father and brother figures are tough. No one hesitates to take disciplinary actions when needed.
You show up late.
For example, these teens were required to do push-ups when they came in just 1 minute late.
6, sir. 7, sir. 8, sir. 9, sir.
It's amazing to me how the boys want the discipline. You see how we discipline them with push-ups. Our voice is firm when it needs to be firm. It's affirming when it needs to be affirming.
The program also teaches financial literacy, mechanics, and dance. Students like Allen say every lesson is worth it, especially the mission and vision the young men are required to learn.
Every time they think about doing something wrong, they can always think, oh, this is the mission or the vision from the Husband Institute, and this tells me not to do this and not to do that.
Leaders in our society.
Floyd tells me Shelby County District Attorney Amy Wyrick is partnering with the program to open a thrift store across the street from the church. They will put young boys to work, as well as older women serving as motherly mentors. To learn more about the Husband Institute, visit our website, fox13memphis.com. In the studio, Siobhan Riley, Fox 13 News. They are just telling people to speak up. And Merle, right here, this is where family members, they have placed balloons, they placed a teddy bear, flowers to remember that child that was killed right here. One family member writes, "We love you, Tay-Tay," and there's plenty of messages on these balloons. Keep in mind, this is the 29th child killed here in Memphis this year. 29. And people say that is unacceptable.
One boy, 16 years old. Jaden Knox, 10 years old.
Emmanuel Church pastor Leonard Jackson and his wife Sharita read the names of children killed in Memphis this year. Out of 29 names,
Ashley Luckett, 6 years old.
23 were murders, including Tayshawn Hodrick.
He was 12 years old. He was loved by everybody.
Gwendolyn Lee is the aunt of the Humes Middle School student, now the 29th child killed violently in Memphis this year. Tayshawn played football for the Memphis Cowboys, a program designed to keep boys out of trouble. Looney Avenue, where Tayshawn was murdered, is quiet now, but neighbors describe it as a rough neighborhood where they hear gunshots constantly.
One right here, one up there, one up over the window.
These are bullet holes from previous shootings at Pastor Eddie Brooks's home.
Why are you killing these babies? Why? Asen Golden, 6 years old. A kid has never had a chance at life.
Memphis Police Director Mike Rawlings says police can't solve this problem alone. He says it starts with parenting and mentorship programs.
I heard Stevie Moore, doing an interview, and Stevie was saying that, where's the outrage? 29 children have been killed, and there's no outrage.
And you can see right here, there is a Skycop cam in the area. My source told me yesterday that police are looking through surveillance video, and we're going to continue to keep you updated on that. But police say they are looking for a person in a Nissan, a red car, and that person you heard from in the story, Pastor Brooks, he says that he did see a burgundy car in this area. At 6 o'clock, we're going to hear from pastors who say they want people to speak up. Live in North Memphis, Siobhan Riley, Fox 13 News. That is correct, Merle. And the city says rental properties in Memphis are on the rise, and oftentimes renters move out of their homes, leaving someone else to clean up the mess. The crews I spoke with who are responsible for cleaning up say one time they cleaned up 2 dead dogs that were left inside of garbage bags. Regardless of who is responsible for the mess, the city's public works director wants it cleaned up. Plates and a torn out wall are everywhere inside this home on Palmetto Street in North Memphis. Where you're standing right now, is this the worst you have seen?
No, 1 out of 10 is about a 3.
Alfred Williams is with Lifeline to Success, a program offering felons jobs and a second chance. The city of Memphis has a contract with the program to clean up some of the worst properties daily.
It makes me wonder if people actually care about the community. And when it comes to, especially when it comes to rental properties, it's difficult if you don't have good management to pay attention to those.
The leader of Memphis's Public Works Department plans to present a city ordinance to Memphis City Council in July in hopes of creating a rental property registry. Robert Connect gave us this statement, saying in part, the goal is to use data-driven decisions focusing resources on those that have a history of code violations. Williams says that action is long overdue.
Kids think they grow up, they can grow up, this is like the type of lifestyle they got to live around.
I asked the city of Memphis for the top 10 code violators when it comes to rental properties. They emailed me this list. Most are from out of state, places like Georgia. Hi, this is Siobhan Riley with Fox 13. And I called all 10 to ask about their properties. Only 3 responded.
It me off simply because it doesn't have to be that way.
Bajwit Brothers Mortgage Corporation was number 4 on the list. Its address is listed as 2595 Broad Avenue in Memphis. I went to the business. Do you mind if I ask you about your property? I understand that you guys made the top 10 list of being code violators here in Memphis. The person who works at the front desk left the room.
We don't want video cameras in our office.
LPM manages some of the properties. A spokesperson called me back saying the violations have been addressed and they are now in good standing. I also called First Key Homes, which is number 1 on the list. The managing director, who's out of state, told me the company is the largest owner of single-family rental homes in the city. He said they are more likely to have the largest number of code violations.
I don't believe that because you've grown, you can use the excuse of being large to be acceptable when you're being negligent.
First Key says the tenants caused 85% of the code violations, but acknowledge the company needs to do a better job of addressing the other 15%.
All they do come to the city and suck us dry and go back home.
The Public Works Director says the rental registry would require an application process. Then the department would look at the historical property history. Be sure to report any of these problems to the city if you see them. Live in the studio, Siobhan Riley, Fox 13 News. Violent crimes committed by kids. 2019 saw a huge increase over 2018. It is a growing problem across the country, and particularly here in the Mid-South.
But if you stay on this path, you're going to wind up dead or in prison. And I'll tell them that. The state wants you to go to prison. I'm trying to save you from prison.
Shelby County Juvenile Court Judge Dan Michaels sees kids who have committed violent crimes every day and says conviction after conviction can't solve the problem. So what will? That's the focus of my special report, Stopping the Cycle.
I come from a neighborhood that's crime-ridden, you know. I done seen 6-year-olds out there on the street with guns, drugs.
25-year-old Andreas Watson is a former gang member. He was 18 the first time he went to prison. He got out and repeated the cycle 2 years later.
Second time, I call him a federal case. I got caught with some drugs and a gun on me.
Kids who commit violent crimes tend to have at least one thing in common, according to Shelby County Juvenile Court Judge Dan Michael. They are young men who come from single-parent homes, growing up without their fathers. Michael says in 2019, there were multiple children in jail for murder.
4 children. What ages are we talking?
The youngest first-degree murder case that has come through this court was 11 years old. He shot and killed his best friend, and then shot the best friend's father when he came into the room. Now, the father lived.
When I spoke with Judge Michael in October of 2019, he told me violent crimes among teens were up almost 65% compared to the same time the previous year.
Last year alone, there were 1,200 handguns stolen from cars in Shelby County and Memphis. Now, those guns aren't being stolen to use at the range. They're being stolen to use in crimes.
Violent crimes like aggravated robberies and carjackings. Michelle Jones is a part of the solution. She's the founder and executive director of We Care Juvenile Success and Community Reentry in Memphis. The program is giving felons like Watson a second chance. Jones relies on referrals before putting ex-offenders through the intense 6 weeks apprenticeship program. They're required to complete an interview to make sure they are ready to turn their lives around by finishing up the training and not getting caught up in anything that would have them go back to prison. This certification means Watson is now ready to be placed on a permanent job like Jolly Roofing and Contracting, where his starting salary is $14 an hour.
These programs actually helped me a whole lot. You know, at first I wasn't financially able to take care of myself or my family, and it's giving me a way to provide for them now.
Ex-cons can earn as much as $22 an hour. They're offered additional resources like resume building, counseling, and assistance for transportation.
The participant has to understand this is 99% up to you saying yes to yourself, saying yes to a change, saying yes to I just want to do better. I'm tired of being a statistic. I'm tired of being pointed out.
It is hard, but eventually somebody will work with you and, you know, not judge you on your past, and will give you a chance.
Judge Michael says rebuilding the urban cores that have been ignored for so long is key to combating this problem. That means creating a system that helps families who lack public transportation and schools in their neighborhood. In the studio, Siobhan Riley, Fox 13 News.